Common language in the morning. I think it was good. That was so good. So crisp. You know what? You can watch it back. That's the best part. We're live right now.
Oh, wait.
You watch it back.
I know.
Should see how it is. Well, you end up hearing yourself at the end of the day, right? But
wow, it was good. It was good.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Every time we get now, see, I'm glad we found that out because when you were mentioning that you were getting the delay when I would do it, I was just like, wait a minute. I'm hosting the recording. I think you should start it. And we're geniuses.
It was like one of those like just too dumb to realize.
We're actually geniuses. We're actually so freaking cool. So yeah.
So, we have a big list. I don't know that I really want to go into my week in Flesh and Blood other than, hey, I played some. I went to locals. Great.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much all you can do, right? Like, I definitely was. I went to my armory yesterday. That's what I did. So we only ever do CC armories right now. When Sage gets live, we're going to be doing more Sage stuff. Also, hold on. Before we even get into that, welcome in, everybody. If you're watching this live, it's actually to everybody. We decided to do this live stream to everyone on the channel. Just kind of a little hangout thing for people. And feel free, right? You can chat with us. It's a live thing, so we'll be taking in. We won't have like a questions thing, I guess, but like feel free to obviously voice your things about Pen in our top 10 and tell us why we're crazy for thinking this card is good when it's probably not. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, I'm still gonna post the VOD for this, so we're still gonna have VOD stuff happening. Outside of that, though, I mean, it's I didn't do too much in regards to Fab. I've been doing a lot of testing with Arachne Huntsman and CC, trying to figure that whole thing out. Now that we know more of the Majestic cards that Assassin got, I don't think much is changing about the deck. But it's still a very, very, I think it's still a very fun deck to play. I might dabble a little bit into some Guardian nonsense, but I think that Huntsman's a lot of fun. I went 2-1 at my armory last night. Ended up cashing, so that was cool. Mm-hmm. Love to see that. Nice. I've been cashing every armory I've gone to with Huntsman, so I cannot complain that something's wrong. But I also came to the realization yesterday, after now that RTN season is over, looking back at all the stuff that we had, I think I probably could have attended 3 more RTNs and just did not do it. So I was like, oh man, that's on me. So I just need to be more proactive about that next time around with PQs. Just getting myself set up and doing that there.
Yep.
But that's pretty much it. That's all I've been doing is just Huntsman. I've been looking over Pen spoilers, which obviously we're talking about today because we've got a lot to go into. So
I have about a dozen that I was like, okay, if you name one of these, I have some fallback ones. Do you want to start us off? I was going to just kind of go down from...
I also was going to go down from the top, right? So yeah. I have them in that list. If we do end up having the same card, we can just talk about it, right? Even if I talk about a card and it's further down in the list than from where you have it, we'll just chit chat about it. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was like, I have 11 or 12.
Sick. Yeah. And I literally made the list in my bed this morning at 7 because I was like, let me just fine tune this. I ended up putting 17 cards on this list, and I'm like, oh,
I had about 15.
I was like, this is far too many. We need to cut this. And so I tried cutting it, and I'm like, I think I've come to my 10 that I really enjoy. So first one, Predatory Plating.
Oh, that's not on mine.
This card, I like this card a lot. This is the new Brute chess piece. Yep. I think this card is insane because it's got Guardwell 2, which already blocks more than the Barkbone Strapping did. It gives less resources and conditionally, but you're going to be playing a 6 at some point when you're a Brute. And oftentimes, in order to extend that chain to get that third chain link up, you just need one resource. And that is what this is for, right? It's play the 6, play the claw, pop the chest, get the resource, you're good, right? So, and it's all at instant speed, so you don't have to break the chain or anything for it, which is awesome. And that's just kind of the. I think Brute already has kind of an insane suite of armor, and to give them +1 on armor and also a free resource at instant speed just by playing their hero, pretty good.
Mhm.
So that's a win for me. Um, that's my first one.
Yep. No, I agree. I that was on my list, but it wasn't high enough, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave it there." I think it is the best chest that they can be running, right? Because
Yeah.
other than that, it was like bark bone strapping, and it was like, that's fine.
And Barkbone
You
strapping is still quite good. I mean, like
yes.
if you need 2 resources for something, like it's still pretty okay to. I mean, obviously you're dealing with lesser odds if you are requiring
Yep.
that additional 2 resources. But I mean, sometimes it's like you have a Bear Fangs in your hand because you couldn't block with it, and you
Mhm.
want to send that Bear Fangs for like pushing lethal. Barkbone strapping could be pretty good for that because you could get 2 resources from it. But
Yep.
I
He
mean,
also couldn't.
you also couldn't, right? You also could quite literally just put that in Arsenal and pass.
Well, and
So
I think that's where the balance of this comes, right? Because this doesn't make bark bone strapping bad, right? Because this is
correct, right?
technically it still blocks for 1, whereas this blocks for 2.
Yeah,
You get 1 more block out of this, but you get consistency of 1, whereas bark bone strapping is, "Hey, I get 1 block out of it, but I can high roll."
yes,
So, I think it just comes down to the player, right? But I think everyone's gonna be, let's be real, predatory plating, I think everyone's gonna be doing
card's
that.
good. I think it's really good.
So my first one, and this is just because I think that this totally changes the class, power level in a lower level format, is
Mm.
Glyph Power Spell.
Hmm. That was not on my list. So
Yeah, this is I think that this card is probably the best card that, they get out of this.
mhm.
There's no other 6, I can't think of any other 6, arcane spell. Well, no, there is one. There's the red, if you play it not on your turn. But you have to
Emeritus
that's
Scalding.
a
Yeah,
yeah, Emeritus Scolding, but that's, Kano, strictly Kano.
yeah,
So I think that this Glyph Power Spell totally changes that. I think that it does make Kano more powerful too, like, right, if he could get a sigil out, if he plays something that gets a sigil out,
yeah.
he now has 2, basically 4, 6 power ones in his deck. I think that increases his power level and it increases the power level of every other wizard. So much so that while I don't while you wouldn't necessarily run sigils in Icelander, I think now you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being the case. I think with Glyph, it's like you have to have the sigil to have it come in for 6, right?
Mhm,
But the other thing is that, and I guess this is also kind of where I don't like it as much, is that if you do not have the sigil, right, for any reason, let's just assume in most
mhm,
cases you don't have a sigil out,
yep,
this costs the same as Red Voltic Bolt,
yeah,
but comes in for 1 point less.
yep,
So I think that there is, I think with the upside, right? There's also the downside.
$100%.
I think that this is a great card to swap out for Comet Storm. Well, I mean not swap, but like you're still going to keep Comet Storm. But like Comet Storm and Shock go together in a way that is very important. But paying 2 into Comet Storm to come in for 5 arcane, right? You're going to have a
No, this
sigil more than likely with
yeah,
a
this
Cilio than
makes
anything.
this makes
So
Acilio more consistent,
yeah, for sure. At least it
is what it does.
preventing, because what that's, let's assume that's the last thing you do. You blast to oblivion the sigil conductivity back to your hand, and then you play it, and then you pitch a blue, play the. I mean, I guess you don't need to
Yep,
pop it back or whatever, but like anyway, you have like 4 on Volzar. This can come in for 10.
yep,
Like that's pretty good for a budget format, is being able to just send 10 arcane.
right.
Like AB3 is not going to do anything to that. So
No, 100%. So that's why I have it kind of as, uh, I have it as my top one just because I think it's going to do more in warping the format than any other card.
For sure.
Because I just think Arcane in general does more. In
Hmm.
general, Arcane always warps a format, right? But now
Hmm.
this allows it to warp a format much different than I think than I was expecting.
Right. Yeah.
I do like the fact that it does only come in red. Right? It's a rare, it's
Right.
red only. I have liked all of the single cards that have been one color. The rare
Yeah.
slots, like each class gets one. And so I think that all of them have been good. I would almost call them like the specializations of each of the ones, because every talent class also got one card in
Yeah.
one color.
Hmm.
So I would say like this is like the wizard specialization almost,
Yeah.
right? So I think that one's good.
Yeah. Not bad. Definitely. I mean, obviously, Big Spell is a kind of the killer of a lot of these like Guardians and um anybody who's running AB3. I think this is more validation for me that I'm running AB4 in like Decimator
Hmm.
Olympia.
Yep,
Just because we are going to see a pretty big shift to Big Spell. So probably definitely will do.
absolutely.
Um, my next one, and probably on your list, but if not, no worries. I just picked the entirety of the Unity equipment for
Yeah,
Warrior. Yeah,
that's on mine too.
that
I have
is
that at 5.
amazing. I think it's the Unity equipment does it's the only thing Warrior got that was good for that period. But I think that this is really fun because that is something that is consistent with Warriors and Guardians.
Yep.
Is that they have this fridge, right? This physical damage prevention in the form of their armor. And sure, I mean, Warrior had a lot of it, regardless of Blade Beckoner, right? You still had cards like Gallantry Gold and Refraction Bolters and even like Kasai's Hood, like Hood of Red Sand. Like Warriors have always had like pretty good armor. But what this does is this is for one, it's a direct upgrade to Blade Beckoner, like
Yep.
complete step up, right? And it allows you to block more specific breakpoints of like 5, right?
Yep.
Instead of 4, because it also, the kind of better part for me personally is that it allows for, it kind of removes that limiting factor of Blade Beckoner, where if you got paired into a ranger, all your
Yeah.
armor just blocked for 1.
Hmm.
Now you can block with a card from hand and 4 pieces of armor and get a whole whopping like 11 off of the block, which is really good if you were going to be seeing things like Dominate Azalea and all of
Yes.
these just like really large power attacks. Even like if we see like for some reason like doubling season Terra or something, like we're going to have options to be able to block very well. So I think just as a direct upgrade, these are huge. Um, I I
Because it
I love this.
essentially makes you start at 32 life. Like,
Yes.
if you really think about it,
Yep.
you're starting at 32 life because the reality of it is you are happy to block with a card or 2 from hand
Yeah.
every single time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rare thing. I think that this makes Warrior actually semi-competitive because I didn't think Warrior was gonna be competitive at all. Like, I think we
Right.
see that in CC a lot, we see that here, like, if you look at, like, Kasai, for instance, right? Doesn't matter which version of Kasai, like, you're coming in for 6 to 8 damage in a turn, give or take. You're probably blocking with a couple of cards, but when people are either block slopping you or B, they are sending 16 damage at you
Yeah.
every turn, like, you're just not gonna get there,
Yeah.
and this helps them extend the game out for them to get there.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's just purely if you do not know what to run in like an armor slot for warrior, you're like, oh, I mean, I have this to give me go again, and I have this to maybe just like give me the resource. But what do I do for these 2 other slots? Like it's almost always now going to be Unity. Like
100%.
it would be a genuine surprise to me if we see any warrior not running Unity equipment in Sage.
Yeah,
Like,
the only I have, equipment later. on my list that we're gonna talk about. There's only one other equipment that I think could rival this equipment,
Yeah,
and it's only for specific warriors. So,
fair.
anyways, on my one, I have the Evo Beta base, so that's
Oh,
the
okay,
Teklo
okay.
Boston
Right.
bases. We have a Teklo Boston main in our locals. He's our level 2 judge,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's been brewing with it, and he's been brewing it in Sage and CC. He thinks that there's something there. He always thinks there's something there, though, for Tekla, let's be real.
I mean, I think it is
But
really
I think
good.
there is.
I think it is good. It's unfortunate they block for one, but
Yeah,
so like if you have to block with them from hand, it kind of feels bad. But I mean, they cost zero,
cost 0,
right?
they're blue.
Cost zero, they're blue, so you can pitch one to play one with Teklo's
Yep,
ability, and then they discount the sentry stuff, which
yep,
is
and that
huge.
that was his point, is he's like, the only thing that or his, sorry, her point, was the only thing that, um the only thing that stops the only thing that would be bad is if you drew 3 of them in one hand.
Right.
She was like, "That is the only thing that makes it where it's bad. If you have 2, you do exactly what you said. You pitch for the ability, you play it, you draw a card."
Yeah.
And she was like, "The fact of the matter is you can, exactly that. She was like, "The fact is, like, you do a lot of boosting. Boosting's powerful.
Yeah.
You don't care about boosting them away because it's essentially draw a card at that point."
Exactly.
And then also, so you run 2 of the blues, you run 2 of the century, like, 1 of the centuries of
Uh
each
huh.
one. So you have what, 4, 12 of your cards in there, and then just everything that you're boosting is literally like gain +1 if you boosted an item or an evo,
Right.
all that stuff. And so you're just doing that, and you're not caring, and you run a couple scrap. And so she was like, the fact is you can get a turn 2 online. You
Yeah.
can, it's not uncommon to get a turn 2 online to start, going.
Yeah.
So
I think
I
it's not bad. I think the
I think it
weird
will make
part.
him I think it will make him a B tier hero. I don't think he's going to be an A tier in
Right.
Stage. And
Yeah.
CC, I think he actually becomes really good in
Huge,
CC.
huge in CC.
Like,
CC
CC,
Teklos
I
are
think he's a
eating right
threat.
now. They're so happy. I think that this card is really good. The reason it's going to work better in CC than Sage is because the games will go on longer, and
Yes.
you're not really going to be utilizing a boost plan, I believe. As much as the new boost cards seem to do something right in regards to that, and boosting is often what you would have thought, right? Get them into the banish zone. You can then play them from banish with Teklo's ability, and then you're good to go. But you also run the risk of boosting the Evo upgrade cards, which are the cards you want to
Yeah.
keep for
And
the
CC
end of
are
the
in here.
game, right? So you get to play, the artillery assault or heavy
Mhm.
artillery or
Yep.
liquid cooled mayhem. Like those cards are key things to present like a huge amount of damage when you're
Well, I'm
online.
almost wondering if those become irrelevant in Sage. Like, I could see people moving away from that and literally just doing boost cards and Evo cards. And just allowing you to just outlast your opponent because you get a ton of armor. Sure, it's just 1 armor, but once that 1 armor is on there, you can then get the base equipment,
Yeah.
which each that's, 3 total block in there.
Mm-hmm.
So your blocking capability, you're consistently refreshing it. So I think that there's a
But
world that I don't know that he's an A
you're
tier, but
also boosting your cards away. You know what I mean?
right, but I mean, towards the end of the game, you don't care. You just throw your weapon at them.
Yeah, but like
Like, his weapon is so good that, like, at the end of the day, he's
I
got
mean
the best.
it's a 1 for 3 with go again. Like yeah, it is incredibly good, but you also don't want to be losing the cards in your deck unless they are absolutely going to be evos. Then it's like, okay, cool, right? Like we banished an evo, we can play it.
I know, but
But
there's 12 of them, like, 12 of them are gonna be Evos, like, I think you'll be fine.
yeah,
Especially in the aggro matchup, like, I think in an aggro matchup, I think if it played well, you'll win it. The only worry would be the block slop, but at the end of the day, like, you can still keep up with block slop.
yeah, I think it's something that's pretty I don't know. I don't think I'm a boost Teklo truther yet, but
Mhm.
I think that with the tools available to
There's
a
going to be a build
mechanologist,
that's going to be good that I could see someone they're gonna get, Road to Nats or something like someone's gonna do something with it, maybe not a calling,
right,
but I do think that we're gonna get quote unquote some points out of it in some of the smaller tournaments. Like I
for
think
sure.
that they're for a specialist on Teklo in Sage, I think that there's something there. There's not something there for me. I am not a Teklo specialist. I
Yeah.
don't enjoy Teklo. I I like to play with him sometimes, like and in Clash, like I worked really hard to try to find a deck that would work with him.
Hmm.
Still couldn't get it to work. Like it was
Yeah.
just
It's
so
hard.
hard. But I think that it's nice to see that they're printing something that I can go, there's something there, as opposed to Teklo is dead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything. I mean, anything. Teklo mains would have gotten anything. It would have been fine. Like, I think that the beta stuff is super powerful. I think it is what they effectively would need,
Yeah.
for their turns. And I guess we'll just kind of see, right? It'll definitely do more for CC Teklo than Sage, I think. But even this is like really cool armor for
But
Sage
now
Teklo. So
ultimately with this though, it's, hey, Sage Teklo needs to be experimented with.
yeah,
Like, that's what it does. That's what it does for it, is it makes it go like, "Okay,
exactly.
what can we do to make this work?" Because I think there's something there. Like I said, I think he'll be B or C or high C, like, I don't think he'll be an A tier ever.
Yeah,
Definitely not an S tier, but I think that there's something there with where he will do some work.
agreed. Agreed. Always good to see new
You're
stuff
number
for.
2 or you're number 3. What's your number
My number
3?
3 is Bolton boots, the Ranger boots,
The Ranger boots,
the
not the
Ranger
Bolt, not
boots,
not actually
not the
Bolton
Bolton
boots.
boots, not boots for Bolton, but Bolt in boots. I think that this is a really fun card and also something that Ranger could just like get like run away with. I think
Yeah,
that it's battle worn one, so it's not like you have to give it up
yep,
and then not get the ability. So you get block value on your boots, and you get to give something go again. Because let's be honest, your arrows are always going to have more than power than their base in most cases, and all you need to
you say
do is
that.
just pay one, send it, right? Like even if it's just bullseye bracer into that, send it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great way to go about doing it if you have the resource. Which I mean, the one resource is probably going to, if I were to guess, that's probably going to be an indicator that like maybe like 2 to 3 more blue cards in a ranger deck now, notably more than it was previously. But not like a lot. I think that the curve is still pretty good, and really, if it's just like Riptide loves this card. I mean, I think
I think
that
I think Azalea loves this card, and
Azalea
I
likes
think
the card.
Riptide loves this card. Even in my Lexi build, I was looking at it. I'm gonna run it just because I'm running. Yeah, let me make sure I get this card right before I just say it. I'm running a dry powder shot.
Right.
So, like a dry powder shot instantly allows you, gives a +2 when it's put face up.
Mm-hmm.
So with that card, it makes it like, okay, I have a couple of those in there. I can extend the turn under the right circumstances because
Right.
typically, I honestly a lot of times if you have to load, most of the time I have excess stuff
Right.
in my turn.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a great card. It didn't make my list. I don't think it is a game changing card for the class.
Well, without Snapdragon scalers, I think it's pretty good. Like, I mean, again, I think this fits a lot better into like aggro red spine manta riptide. I think
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
a
yes,
huge thing for that. And I think that this does allow for like more uh red line like go again, because I mean, with
yeah,
access to bolt and shot, with access to swift shot, falcon wing, all these go again arrows, like you could easily do go again into this if you find ways to load.
mhm,
You have the reload abilities of ranger. A lot of it can eke out, but I think even just having the battle worn one on it
Yeah.
is great. Like, sure, this could
Well,
be Blade Beckoner boots, right? But
yeah.
like, I
I
think
think
it's fine.
it yeah, no, because one of the things I've seen, because 'cause I've been playing a lot of Lexi, is the
Mhm.
fact of this will impact the class more than a Blade Beckoner. Because most of the
Right,
time, like, sometimes I don't even get the full value off of the Blade Beckoner.
right,
Like, depending on what class I'm facing up against, things like that,
right.
and that one extra block, I would rather have it be an extender.
Yeah,
Like, that's the reality of it,
yeah.
because for a ranger, if I'm using this, that one that one to in order to get go again, number 1, they're probably gonna have something to reload, or maybe you just haven't used your bow yet, right? Like, that helps for the stuff like, "Hey, something's stuck in my arsenal, I'm
Mhm.
gonna pump it up like an arrow, and I'm going to give it go again."
Right.
For, like, somebody like Azalea or Riptide. For Lexi, not so much, but I mean, you essentially can look at it and be like, "Hey, this is extending it for 4 power." Like, because all your
Right.
arrows are 0 cost, and so essentially that cost 1 is essentially 4 power on the other side.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
difference between blocking 1 versus attacking with a 4 power is huge.
and I mean, you want to keep the tempo, right? Like, as a ranger, if
Yes.
you run out of tempo, it's like, okay, you have to have your opponent brick pretty freaking hard for you to be like, okay, I now have 3 cards in my hand where I can load, and then I
Mhm.
can shoot, and then I can maybe do another thing with this last card in my hand to do something else. Like, you'd have to keep 3 cards in most cases,
Yep,
because keeping 2 cards is just load shoot.
yep.
Whereas here, if you're able to continuously put on the pressure, and at a 20 life format, I mean, like,
You have to.
all the pumps in the world, like, you get your opponent to 5, and then you get to draw up 4 cards and they have nothing. It's like, okay, cool. The rest of this game is yours unless you draw into 4 non-attack actions, right? If
Yep.
you draw into 4 pumps, it's like, sure, you bricked. But that's what it comes down to, like cost curve and all this other jazz and whatever. But like, it's I think this is just fine because it's effectively give an arrow the bolt and shot ability without the
Yeah.
reload. So
Without the reload. But it also, like, it extends your we talked about Riptide, because and Lexi, like, there's been turns with Lexi, for instance, I get an awkward hand where I get like, "Hey, I got a dry powder shot, I got an Entwine Lightning," but I don't have any way to give them go again, for instance, but
right,
I have, like, a resource card, so what this does is this allows me to load my dry powder shot.
right,
I number 1, I get to draw a card off of it, so maybe it'll turn it around, but if it doesn't, perfect. I will give my dry powder shot go again so I can attack with another 4 attack. Like,
yep,
there's been times when I've been testing this deck, because we've known about this card for a long time,
hmm,
where I've sort of been keeping track in my head of like, "Hey, that would have made a difference in this
yes,
game."
yes,
And there's been several of them, and it's one of those, like, it's few and far between, because you can usually, especially with Lexi, you can kind of weave your hand in the way that it works for you,
right,
just because it is a lightning build, but those times that it would make a difference, it would have won me the game.
yeah. I think it's just having that additional value of sending another arrow. Like, that is what you need to push that tempo in your favor. And if you
Yep.
can't, then I mean, that's any extender is a good extender. And again, this is just a 1 cost Snapdragon scalers. So, you
And
know,
specifically for arrows too.
for arrows, yeah, specifically for arrows. So, but I mean, even still, I think it's at
Yeah.
least my favorite out of the things that Ranger got for like a
Yep.
general purpose, right? So,
So my number 3 is dyed silk sleeves. I just realized we're not reading these cards. We probably should. This is attack reaction. It's a ninja equipment attack reaction. Pay 1, tap this, destroy dagger you control that's not on the active chain link.
mm-hmm,
Target ninja attack action card on the active chain link gets +1. When the chain link resolves, if the attack didn't hit, destroy this. With so few, defense reactions, people aren't gonna necessarily surprise you in being able to do it. That's not to say they won't, but
right,
there's not a ton of them, and if you're making them waste an attack reaction on this card to break it, I think they're probably losing.
yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know.
I think
Like,
it's one of those things where obviously the best part about it is that it gives value to like Syndra daggers, right?
Right, it's
Um,
essentially this is to allow Syndra to have a Flick Knives in Sage
yeah,
every turn. It's not 0, so I still think Syndra probably runs some blues in
for
there.
sure. Yeah,
I don't think she's going, straight red like she does in CC,
right.
but it makes it where she's playable. Because I have done testing with Syndra, and the fact that she can't consistently flick knives, like, she's got a couple attacks that allows her to do that.
Right.
You got Hurl, you got the other one, there's a couple of ninja ones that's like, "Hey, if this was Draconic, when this hits, destroy a knife and deal 1 damage to them." So there's like a handful. The main issue that I've seen though is those aren't consistent enough
Yeah.
and they're always costing. And so allowing you to have this where every single turn I can pressure essentially flick knives,
Mm,
it's not preventable, right?
right.
It's not unpreventable damage like it is in CC. I
Hmm.
think that's fine. So allowing this essentially fixes the problem that I was seeing from her is because a lot of times those ninja attacks are 3. There's too
Yeah.
many like just 3 attacks, they're just head jabs, which is in such a fast format like this, if I can't consistently turn one into like that's her thing in CC is, hey, I can consistently turn one into essentially an unpreventable damage. This,
Yeah.
gives you a buff. But you attack with it, then you can attack with something that's 3 or 4, and then you can tap this, destroy that one in there. So that creates that cycle too. The other problem that I was seeing in general is the fact that like sometimes you just because you can't consistently destroy your kunais,
Right.
sometimes you attack with them and then you like literally have to stop yourself from attacking with your kunais because you can't get because you want to make sure you always have one on you to have a starter.
Yeah.
And so this allows you to consistently do that because one of the things is with this, for instance, is it destroys it. So even if they stopped it, you still will have that chance to pull it back down
Correct. Yeah.
at one time. So you have that like destroying one. So um it makes it where she's viable because
Hmm.
you can hit breakpoints and you can consistently hit breakpoints. It's not like breaking scalars where you have to only do it one time
Right.
on a combo. So this allows you to consistently hit breakpoints when you want to. She doesn't have a really good mask, so she's not threatening draws. So she just needed something
Yeah. Just
in
it's just
there.
the outlet to be able to destroy for another +1. And if your opponent ends up, playing some kind of instant prevention effect to block out the remaining damage, it's like, okay, you lost your arm piece, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like you also got a card from your opponent's deck. So
Mhm.
it's not the end of the world there. And I think it's just like a great you can utilize it for multiple heroes too, right? It doesn't have to just be for Syndra, but like it is just kind of like
It is a Syndra.
it's a gotcha card too. If like for any reason you're like, okay, cool, let me just go ahead and get all of this additional value on top of uh, you know, setting up freaking uh I don't know, if you're trying to do something with your kunai at the last part of the game or your
Mhm.
Kadachi, and you're trying to get over for 1, right? And your opponent is blocking 4,
Yep.
but I don't know. I mean, I
Uh,
think it's
the,
it's it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So
no, I think it just basically makes Syndra. It makes it so that there's a reason to play Syndra over Fi.
yeah,
You want to, right? Because now they have a very different feel, and she has an outlet. Because that before it was like, I was just the better ninja,
right.
period. And now it's like, oh, I have that. The other thing too that I find interesting is it is Blade Break 1.
Hmm.
So it's kinda follows that ninja-esque theme of, "Hey, here's my equipment in an emergency, I
Hmm.
can get a block out of it." If we talk about mask well, any mask really, like, they all have that where you can kinda blow them up, whether you're blocking or spell void or whatever in order to make sure. So, I just think overall it's a piece that once again, I really looking at this, and I didn't think about this until we were talking, all of the ones that I've picked are essentially ones that change the class, make the class, like,
Yeah,
actually semi-viable.
and I mean
I
that's
still
that's
think
what it should
Fi is
be.
probably yeah, and I still think, like, Fi might be the better ninja, Draconic ninja to pick
Right.
overall,
Hmm.
but now it's a, "Hey, I enjoy Syndra, I have something that I have an outlet in order
Yeah.
to make her possible."
Yep. Still very good. So absolutely, I think it's anything that can change a class that went from like, oh, I don't really have anything to do with my cool hero power and like what it is, to being like, oh, here's a piece of equipment that allows you to, if your opponent snuffs you out, right, that's what they did and that's what they were planning to do from the beginning. But
Yep.
you now have an outlet into, aggro, to be like, cool, I can aggro better now, because if my opponent blocks for the 3 block, you can pump it up by 1, hit,
Yeah.
not lose your armor, and then
Mhm.
of course get value by just chipping down your opponent in that way.
Yep.
So
And the thing is, block slop, we talk about that a lot. Once
right,
again, it's block slop, it's blocking, not de-reacting, and so you
exactly,
know kind of from the get-go, "Hey, should I do this or not?"
exactly.
Like I said, there's not
Right.
a
If
lot
they,
of
if they're blocking
defense
4
reactions.
on 3, you don't do it. If they're blocking 4
Yeah.
on 4, you do it, right? Because then they have to waste a whole D-react for that. So, speaking of D-reacts, though, my next one is Shimmering Mirage, the illusionist defense reaction that we got.
Mhm.
So this costs 0. It's a blue, block 2. Says, well, this is defending. When the chain link resolves, banish this. You may play it this combat chain. And then it has
Yep.
Mirage, which means that if it's defending a non illusionist attack with 6 or more power, you destroy this. This is Illusionist's answer to Ninja, because
Yeah.
this is crazy. Being able to quite literally, this is quick dodge flexors at rare
Mhm.
for Illusionist, which
Yep.
is bonkers, let me tell you, because just being able to quite literally, most ninjas don't want to break the chain link.
Mhm.
Most classes don't. I mean, you even take a look at Briar, right? Briar is also trying to go a whole bunch wide, right? And sure, if you get
Yeah, but
snuffed
she doesn't
out,
care about breaking the chain link.
exactly, yeah, it doesn't matter about breaking the chain link. And also, uh, I mean, like, yeah, sure, right? You break the chain link and then you start it again, and then you lose this defense reaction. But I think that overall, just that's why it only blocks for 2, right? Instead of like for
Yep.
3 or for 4. So it's obviously meant for more lower to the ground cards. The other
Mhm.
cool thing with this is that if you play this as a defense reaction from your arsenal, a hero that we don't actually see enough of, and this actually might be a sick answer to, is Benji. This
Yep.
is crazy, just to have consistently in your banish zone to go block, block, block. But of course, they can break the chain, right? This is a very,
Mhm.
very, very easily stopped card, because you can just go, okay, cool. I'll break my combat chain, start it again, and then you can't block with that card.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, Benji, depending on how you build him, like sometimes he cares about combo, sometimes he doesn't.
right.
So
Yeah.
if he does care about combo and you did this, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
exactly. So
You just block it.
I think it's definitely one of the coolest things. I think that it's going to have a lot of effect. I think having it have Mirage, right? Obviously, you're not going to be playing this into like Guardian or into Brute,
Yep.
right? There's no reason for you to be playing this. But if you're playing into something that's low to the ground, right? Ira becomes like
Mhm.
significantly like, okay, cool. Block the dagger for
Yep.
2, and then block the 5 power attack. And then it's like,
Yep.
okay, like, sure, they can break the chain. They don't really care about it, right? Not many heroes care about keeping that full chain link, like the Draconic ninjas do. Um, Mystic ninjas sometimes do, but for the most part, it is just a great way for illusionists to defend out those pesky small attacks. And I
Yep.
think I could see Enigma running this card pretty well.
Yeah, I could see any of them. I'm so on my list, like very towards the bottom
Hmm.
is Power of Make Believe, and it's more or less like my. I just wanted to kind of hit on Mirage
Right.
in general,
Hmm.
and I feel like this is a good opener for that.
Yeah.
So I think that having Mirage, I mean, it's essentially Phantasm, but on defense, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's doing. Having Mirage now makes it where illusionists don't have to rely on a aura plan in order to counter, all their stuff getting popped.
Right.
That allows them to feed into Mirage in there. So I really, really like that keyword. I do think we will find that uh, illusionists, now that they have access to Mirage, are going to build their decks that are very meta dependent. So, right, if we have a lot of low to ground, they're gonna do Phantasm stuff. If they're a lot of, big stuff, then they're going to do Mirage,
Yeah.
in general, and so I think we're gonna see that. I do think that their sideboards, which I'm okay with, a lot and this happens with a lot of illusionists in general, I feel like, is their sideboards are always so tight and they never have enough spaces for it,
Yeah.
for everything they wanna do, and so I think that this is a good way of kind of handling that. So I like this keyword in general. It's way better than Spectra, let's be real.
Way better.
Um, Spectra be should be banned. But this is a good in between effect for that. So I'm happy to see this. I don't know it's going to make as big as a splash as we think because right now the meta is looking like it's going to be like, hey, it'll be Briar and some Guardian.
Right.
That's a great combination when you're deciding should I go Mirage or Spectra.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mirage or Phantasm build in here. But I think it's good to have these cards. One of the
Hmm.
things I commented this on Dice Commando because Dice Commando did a quick run through this whole set. I like what they're doing with the set overall because it feels like they're helping archetype, they're helping heroes that need it, or
Yeah.
just archetypes that need it. We just talked about that in Dyed Silk Sleeves, and then they're also kind of making bases for new archetypes.
Yeah.
So, like, Mirage is a good base that they've had in here. This is a good base
Yeah.
for a Mirage archetype. Is it everything that we're gonna see? No, I'm sure we're gonna get more Mirage cards. I think that these are interesting enough that all any illusionist hard to say because every illusionist functions differently. Any illusionist will look at these and say, "Do I wanna run these or not?" Because of the fact, like, Mirage is I feel like, needs to be considered.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. I love Mirage. I love, and I mean, yeah, that I've already forgotten the name of the card that you quite literally just said you were talking about. Um,
Power make
yeah,
believe.
power of make believe. Like being able to see that is like cool. That is near phantasm level damage, but it says Mirage on the bottom of it. So
Mhm.
like
It's a 3
fun.
for 7, and then it gets +1 for every 6 attacks, so it's
Right.
instantly like, "Hey, Guardians and KO are in the meta, let me play some."
Exactly. Right. You just go ahead and send this, and it sends a little bit extra damage over the top, which is good. So
I could see this one honestly being main boarded in general because I think that the downside isn't enough,
yeah, I mean,
in
yeah,
there.
it
You
still
still block 3.
it blocks for 3. If the only downside is like, if you need to keep the card, then and you need to block
Can't
with it.
block with
Like,
it
yeah, you
in
can't block
yeah.
with it if you're playing into like a guardian because it's like, ooh, okay. But if
It
they're
is the 3
playing,
block for down to low ground heroes,
yeah,
and
but if they're
it
playing
turns
Titan's
it
Fist, you can block with it, right? Like if you
yeah,
can just block a fist or something, block a weapon, not too terrible. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
I think it's a good
cool.
one. I kinda threw that in there, but, my next one, I don't know that we need to talk about this too much, is the Graven Equipment.
Yep, that was my next one too. So
Yeah, so it was like,
yeah,
I know we both have this on here. I mean, one of the things you pointed out was, "Hey, this plays exactly like, the Graven, dagger," which is when it's equipped from anywhere other than the graveyard, it has a -1, so basically it starts out with a -1
right.
at the beginning of the game, and then if you clip it from your graveyard, then it has block 2.
Yeah,
So I think this card does a fantastic job of essentially giving you a reason to run silver. It also makes it where you think about, like, now contracts, especially excessive blood loss, becomes way more interesting in almost all classes,
yeah.
all assassin classes. Like, because with excessive blood loss, which is also on my list, so maybe I'll just pump it in
That
here.
one's actually not on my list, believe it or not. So
Excessive blood loss is it's a 1 for 5, a 3 block, assassin attack. If this hits, you're contracted to banish a red card. If it banishes a red card, you repeat this. You
yeah,
could get 2 silver off of it.
yep,
And so with Graven Equipment, that means, hey, if this hits and I'm hitting Briar, who's a redliner who doesn't wanna block,
yep,
either A, I force her to block, or B, I'm getting 2 silver off of her, which means I have free block out of that. I think that this makes it where you consider running some of that. I would like to see some more contracts that are like excessive blood loss, that, you know that will allow me to get 2 out of them, because I think if you go too deep into the contract pool, if you're not Arachne Huntsman, I think it is a detriment. But I do think that these should be a consideration of a one of in any assassin from
Yeah.
here on out.
Agreed. I mean, I think the Graven Call equipment is just that's what was missing with the initial Arachne, right? Contract Arachne. Even just from that base standpoint, yes, they can all be used in every assassin, but Contract Arachne has never had anything they've been able to do with their silver in a budget format.
Yep.
Period. There has been nothing. They don't have access to Graven Call because it's a Majestic. They don't have access to any of the Mask of Perdition or Black Tech Whispers because they're legendaries and Majestics. There was never anything you could do with silver. So even if you got what you wanted and you were able to hit your opponent and mill cards from their deck and get 10 silver, there's nothing you could do with it. And this allows you to now go, okay, now you can spend that silver on what is essentially a fatigue plan. You just block with your armor, get it to the grave, buy it back. Now it blocks for 2. Do that for the rest of the game with the rest of your silver that you end up making. And like silver generation isn't going to be that high because 1, you have to hit, which some classes do not want you to do that. 2, it makes like 1, maybe 2 silver, right?
Yep.
If that is the case, then you do that. But I mean, when you're considering ways for you to give cards like this go, like, you know, you can give this, you can play Razor Reflex on this on like excessive blood loss. You play Razor Reflex, bump it to 8, it gets hit, and then the next attack, you send a Double Trouble. That Double Trouble hits, you get 3 more reds off the top or something. That's a lot of silver because you're still completing the contract. So
I think what people haven't really considered too, right? We automatically look at OG Arachne, Contract Arachne. I think that this helps Azuri. I think that this makes Azuri
for sure.
Maybe like because excessive blood loss is a good card to switch.
Yes. I mean, period. Period. It's
like,
a one. It's a
switch it in.
It's just a good card to have. I mean, it's a it's a 1 for 5 if you're playing the red, and you get to hit and possibly get 2 cards. Like, you know what? The only deck you don't ever do that in, like that you have like so bad odds into, is like maybe the Mystic Heroes. But at that point, you've got another card you could probably play if you're running into that many Mystic Heroes. It's not on my list, but it's
not on my list.
It's a card,
but it exists. But yeah, no. So that's what I just like. I was like Graven equipment because I think it makes the blood loss better, and I think it also because you can get one of those buybacks with excessive blood loss. On top of that, I think excessive blood loss with the Graven, even just one piece of your Graven equipment, actually helps Zuri,
right?
Where she's not trash tier. Well, she's still probably trash tier,
She's
but
still kind of bad. Like, I'm not gonna lie, pretty bad.
For people that love Azuri, which are Azuri lovers, it does improve her odds a little bit. And I think one of the things in this format is sometimes you just get lucky. You can pull out some wins, and these two cards in there help you do that. And so I think in most cases you're only going to run 1 Graven equipment, and maybe OG Arachne. Maybe you run 2. I don't know that you run all 4.
Yeah,
but once again, having the full suite means that you can fill it in wherever you want.
Yeah, I mean, you're at least even if you just make 2 silver, you have temper 3, temper 2 armor effectively. Then,
well, yeah, it's blade break,
right? But what I mean is like you block for 1 and then you're blocking for 2, so you do it kind of the opposite. And so you at least have that kind of versatility.
And then if you get lucky, you get a couple more silvers. All of a sudden, you got 2 more block. Like that's big.
It's huge. I mean, you're able to do that, and I think a lot of some people had mentioned in my Silver Age A to Z video for Azuri that they were thinking they made a fatigue Azuri build that worked really well for them, and I'm just like, okay, well, like Graven Call stuff probably helps quite a bit for that. So
Double Trouble, Graven Call, excessive blood loss, etc.
Yep.
Anyways, what's your next one?
My next one is actually going to be something I didn't think I'd put on here initially, but it's pretty good. Beneath the Surface, the Pirate Necromancer defense reaction. So it's
Yep.
a 2 cost yellow that blocks for 5, and it has Watery Grave. So when when it's defends, put it into your graveyard and then flip it face down, right? So same like your allies. But the other cool thing is that you can play this from your graveyard, or which is kind of interesting because you can get, if you are able to filter a blue into your grave,
Your graveyard.
you're
Play
able
it
to
out.
then play it as a defense reaction from your graveyard, which is kind of insane. I mean, you have to ditch a whole blue from your hand, but this is a way for you to not, if you don't have it in arsenal, because usually it's just going to be an arsenal, right? But
Yep.
this help gets around any like of that evasive damage, right? Being able to just go, okay,
And you know they made it yellow on purpose so you can tipple it.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. And you get 6
Yeah.
tipples in the deck. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I think for, you know, obviously it's not a 0 for 5 like it is in, or a 0 for 6 like it is in CC, but a 2 for 5.
I mean, if you really, really want to get around it, it's you know, break a gold, throw a blue in there, then you break your chess piece to then pitch that blue that you threw in there, to then
Exactly.
pay for that to go. That's true. Like I didn't
Exactly.
think about that. You could play it out,
Yeah, you can play it
and
from
in that
grave.
sequence, you essentially don't lose your blue that you just got rid of.
Uh-huh.
You pitched it
Yep.
in a manner
It's a very
speaking, and you
interesting
got it
card.
out.
And I mean, I think obviously like a D-React for 5, like the deck already doesn't block very well. Do I wish it
Yeah,
was
D-Rect for 5 is great.
do I wish it was a better ally? Yeah, maybe, but like I think this is
He doesn't need more allies. I think
yeah,
he's
I
got
think this
enough
is
ones.
fine for what it's worth, and it certainly at least helps you know, if your opponent is trying to just go face and you go, "Oh, I have, you know, a blue and 3 no blocks in my hand," like you can make that work still, which I think is really cool. And obviously, if you just chuck this in the arsenal, it's like, okay, whatever, right? A 2 for 5 D-React. Like you pitch an
It's
ally
2 for
that
5. Exactly.
right,
There.
pitch
It
it
turns your ally into a block.
exactly, which is what you want. So that's my next card. That's a card that I think was pretty cool to see.
And Jonathan Bauer says Azura might be interesting to tinker in this format. I think so.
Yep. Azuri will be fun. I look forward to testing more assassin stuff.
All right, so my next one is Smoldering Steel.
Not on my list.
That is, yeah. So that is to let people know. Like I said, I should probably read these out. Where's this? It is right here. So this is Draconic Warrior attack reaction. Target dagger gets +1, and when this hits a hero, deal 1 damage to them.
Yep.
When this is in your graveyard, if 1 or more Frostbite tokens would be created under your control, instead you may banish this. Once again, we were talking about Unity equipment totally changing Warrior. This also totally changes the way that Fang can work. The main thing that I kind of want to call out here is the secondary ability of banishing this to destroy Frostbite, right? We have Smoldering Scales, which is that Draconic Ninja equipment, which Guardwell 2, which is good. If 1 or more Frostbites would be created under your control, instead you may destroy this. I think that those 2 things together makes that if Ice becomes prevalent in this format, he becomes your person to go to. And I think for me, once again, you know, I like seeing these cards in here because everyone complained about Ice.
Yeah.
And how destructive it was and how it just shuts down Draconic, you know, heroes, etc., etc., etc. Well, number 1, they've always had access to a Majestic to help deal with those pesky Ice stuff, but everybody wants to, you know, complain about that. But number 2, and the reason why I think this is even better than I think the Smoldering Scales is the main thing of like, hey, I use it, I get it, and then very rarely do we have a secondary effect from a banish or from a discard, right? We get stuff like Graven Call, what we just talked about, you're pulling it out, but there's never been a directly, well, I guess there's been one. Actually, it's not Frostbites, but nobody ever used it. But this is a card that's something that the hero wants to do and then helps me in that ice matchup that is not good. So I think that this makes Fang a little bit more viable. I do think he was kind of missing one more zero cost
Mhm.
attack reaction. Like I just was feeling that because I like to play Fang and enjoy playing him here and there, and he just felt like he was missing like one more zero attack reaction in this format. So now he has it. I think he's viable. Fang is one of those heroes that he he is kind of runs with the Warriors, of very mid-range, but, he does have kind of spiky turns where once he's online, he's very hard to stop. It's just getting through fealty in such a fast format is difficult.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that this card kind of works on multiple axes. It also blocks 3, which helps makes him tankier. So it works on multiple axes to a point where once again, like I said, in pretty much everything I've picked makes him a interesting one to maybe think about, especially in very meta, an ice meta. Uh, I don't think we're in an ice meta right now, so I don't think Fang is necessarily one to consider at this point. But I do think one Fang lovers are going to, and there are, we got the Fang gang.
Yep.
Um, Fang, I think, can be viable in Sage, and if Icelander starts coming out and being dominant, and I honestly am, well, I'm gonna be surprised if she doesn't come out being dominant. I know a lot of people are doomsaying on her,
Uh-huh.
but, like, the power of ice in a format in just every format, and sure, she doesn't have the consistency of pinging you for 3, but we've just seen her be so dominant for so long. I just have a hard time thinking that she's not going to be,
Yeah.
especially in people's hands like Michael Hamilton, who I would be surprised to play her. People like that who love playing her, these pro
Mhm.
players who love playing her, are gonna break a deck. I think she's just waiting for that right deck to come in. Once they break that deck and what it is, I think she's gonna be dominant, and I think that Fang could be something that can hold up to her with this card.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just as a heads up, not to obviously push the stream, we are gonna probably have to have a hard cutoff in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because as much as I actually could probably go a bit longer, I think some stuff is happening at work that I need to actually handle when I go live or when I when it happens. So I'm gonna kind of rush through these next couple of mine, just to kind of give you a rundown here. So I think one on mine is probably one on yours as well. Chorus of Rotwood is
Yep.
the one. Florian
That's
card, zero. It's cost 1, blocks for 2. It's an Earth Runeblade action. Decompose. You may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your grave. If you do, you create an Embodiment of Earth token, and then you make 3 Runechant tokens. Obviously, there's needed to have been a lot of ways for Florian to decompose. And if this is the decompose card that gets you online, you make 2 Embodiment of Earths and 4 Runechants for 1 resource, which is just literally so insane. I think it is going to be something that is going to help push the deck into a very good spot, and it's just so much better than being like, okay, well, here's Cadaverous Tilling again. All right,
yes.
like this
It
physically
makes
works
him
directly with his ability. So
this literally changes him from a, "I don't know about Florian," to Florian's a real deck.
yeah, absolutely. I think it's such an insanely good card. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, no,
So
it's great. I do think that the other stuff of like, hey, destroy aura or banish an aura, um, combined with this will make him a real card. But at the end of the day, those don't work without this card.
correct. Yeah.
Not nearly as good.
Yeah.
And so this makes him. I told you I was going to let smarter people build a Florian deck. I didn't listen. I did build one. I'm going to probably start testing it. Um, One that's on my list that might be on your list is Ion Charged.
Oh,
This
it's
is
not.
a
It
lightning
was on my
instant.
list.
This is a lightning instant, a 0 cost, a yellow. At the end of or until end of turn, lightning and elemental attacks get +1 while they have to go again.
Hmm.
I don't think that this necessarily right. This doesn't affect Snapshot Lexi because
Yeah.
Snapshot doesn't get +1, but this does make Aurora and Acilio
And
react.
Briar.
Briar, I mean Briar
Yeah.
does, yeah, she'll go
And
white
she doesn't.
in there.
She sure doesn't need +1 on all of her stuff. Like,
She, yeah, but she
mhm.
also doesn't love to play instants. And so this is where I think that they did right by making it instant because Aurora actually likes instants,
Yes, yes. Very true.
whereas Briar doesn't. And
Yeah.
so this will help to really
Yeah,
stretch out, make them different.
yeah, much better for the Rosetta Lightning Heroes than the previous Tales of Aria Lightning Hero stuff. So
Oh, I like that one.
yeah, very good. The next three I have are all within the same talent, effectively, because I think that this talent got some of the most busted pieces of cards I've ever seen in a budget format ever. But my card I'm going to talk about first here is Chain of Brutality, the reviled brute
Yeah.
attack. So insane. Zero
Yes.
cost, red, 2 attacks, 2 power attack, 3 defense. It says if this has 6 or more power, it gets go again, and when this hits a hero, the next attack action card you play this turn has base 6. So you are attacking for 6 because you're probably going to use KO's KO strong arms ability.
Yep.
Make this a 6. It'll get go again naturally just by being a 6, right? And then on top of it, if it hits, you get a free KO ability on your next attack. So this card can threaten upwards of like 16 points of damage if it's not blocked. And it's like for nearly nothing. It converts a whole hand super well. And even at worst, if this card comes in for 6 and they block 6 to not get the next effect, send a red mocking blow anyway. If you're above life, it goes ahead and comes in for 5. And you're still sending a decent amount of damage to increase that life total gap. It's very good. I think this card is insane. I did not expect reviled KO to be getting such a nasty card. But this is definitely making me want to build the deck in Sage. It already was after playing the one that I played for Silver Age A to Z. I was already like, okay, this is a pretty cool deck. But now I'm like, what in the world? Like, that's so cool. I love this.
It pushes it over. I like when one card makes, once again, kind of all the cards we picked is, hey, we should probably look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think that card is good. That will be the card that makes KO work if he becomes competitive.
For sure.
What's your other 3?
My others are Line Crossers, the reviled arm piece. Just again, because technically it works both with Lyeth and with KO, but just having the ability, how many games go 1-1 and you go, okay, right, like this is it. We can't have a life parity anymore. No Scar for Scars, no nonsense like that, right? But this quite literally just says, okay, cool. Did I pitch stack my Mocking Blows? Like now your Mocking Blows threaten so much more when they're coming in at the end game, because Line Crossers just says, okay, infinitely, if you have the same life as a hero, it counts as you having more and them having less. So the issue with that, though, that I can find is that technically, if you're at the same life total, that means that your opponent can play Scar for Scar because they're technically at less life than you are.
I guess so, yeah.
So there is some benefit there, but in theory, that's not
really... I don't think they... And them having... Okay, if you have the same life, it also counts as you having more than them and them having less than you. Okay,
correct.
And them having less than you.
Yeah, so them having less than you means that they can play things like Scar for Scar. Their Wounded Bulls are turned on. The whole thing. It means that if they block with a Fendel's Fighting Spirit, they gain a life. So they get the value from having parity as well, but I think the reviled hero gets more value from the parity than other heroes do. So that is why...
if it becomes an issue, you just block with it.
Exactly, right? If it's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess that's fine, you just get rid of it, right? It blocks for 1, so not the end of the world there. And then the last card that I want to talk about, it's the last card on my list, Snarky Prick.
I love this card.
This card is crazy. First and foremost, goblin ass out just for the world to see for some reason. But it's a 0 for 1 that blocks for 3. It's a red card. Says when this attacks a hero, look at the top card of their deck. If it's red, destroy it, and this gets +4. So into probably what you'd consider the meta, this is a 0 for 5, right? It doesn't have go again, but it's a 0 for 5. And if you activate RKO's ability, it's actually it's an 11 because you're, well, not an 11, it's a 10. No, Yes, it's a 10. So this is just Mocking Blow again, and you can destroy a card off the top of your opponent's deck. So
Yes.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think this card is like just really, really nasty. Like this is like what I consider the reviled talent. Is just this
Yes.
absolutely nasty,
Well,
nasty
it's
kind of deck.
also I think right now we're reviled because it's such a low health format.
Right.
It's hard to stay above life, and so
Yeah.
this is a great card to fill in those gaps where when you're having trouble staying above life. So
Absolutely.
that's why I like that one. Um, so my last one that I have on here is and this is a weird one is the Michelier Helm.
Oh, okay. The
Uh,
generic helm.
this is this is a generic helm. If you control a gold, this gets +1
Right.
action. Pay 2, destroy this. The next time you draw a card from a gold token, instead draw 2 cards. Go again. Temper. So essentially, have gold around, block with it. Block with it one time. If you need to get the extra draw, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I love this card because it being generic, it means that anybody who does not have a good enough helmet and they have gold, uh, now has access to this.
Yes.
One thing I always talk about is Kasai, the Red Hood. Sure, it's a good ability. It blocks for 1. You can banish a yellow and a red, and when your attack hits, you get to draw a card. Great ability. In a warrior, though, a lot of times you want to have a little bit extra, but just giving you the ability to have extra draw is big, right? You have Cash
Mm-hmm.
In was running in Clash, like I would run that in there. So
Right.
having just a couple extra ways of getting a couple extra cards to threaten your reacts
Mm-hmm.
is big. And then for ones that aren't necessarily Kasai, it gives you something with your gold. If you
Yeah.
need extra, extra block or things like that. We look at uh not Wyeth, other gold main.
Victor.
Victor, right? Like his one, I think his one is like Blade Break 2 or something like that. He doesn't have temper
Yeah.
on it, whereas this kind of levels that up a little bit more, so he
Yeah.
can have extra armor. His helmet honestly is terrible; has to block with another yellow or 2 yellows or something ridiculous,
Yeah.
and so this is kind of a straight upgrade for that. So any gold we've seen is going to be important. So anything kind of moving forward, hey, you have a helmet to give you that extra block if you need it. So I just like that in general as uh, kind of a hold in there.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's not a bad generic headpiece. I think at least for Kasai, you probably I don't know. The reason I like it for sure is obviously it's a temper 2 headpiece if you have gold, which is sick,
Mhm.
right? But I think the the downfall is that the effect doesn't really it costs you 2 cards to draw 2 cards. So it's
Yes.
a filter, which is good, right? It's always good to have a filter. It'll turn on Kasai's ability if you're drawing cards anyway, so you're fine there. So if you have like a bunch of blues in your hand, right? You pitch 2 blues, you draw 2 new
Mhm.
cards, and then you get to have 4 new cards and 2 floating. So 4 cards and 2 floating resources. That's pretty good. Um, I think that like Kasai might I would see Kasai probably running Helm of Unity more.
Yeah, she
Um,
might.
but I think that if this ends up being something in which like filtering is so important, especially in like Victor does like to filter, and I think Victor could very well use this card a lot better. Um, just to have a 2 block or a temper 2 headpiece because you're always going to have gold like pretty much all the time. So I think that ends up being something that is very fun, and gets hey, more good block cards for everybody is not a bad place to be. So
Yeah, 100%.
cool, cool,
That's my
cool.
list.
All right, well then I guess that's kind of it. We've run through it. I'm not gonna lie, Pen has been very cool to see a lot of these archetypes that we have not really gotten a lot for
Yep.
pushed to maybe have a bit more of a standpoint, right? I mean, I don't know, I don't think many of us were expecting to see reviled and revered card this early.
Oh, 100%.
And so it's so cool that they're still pushing those. A lot of archetypes, Ice obviously getting a ton of cards printed. You have the elemental cards that are coming out that are just going to help boost those classes entirely because that talent is just like nuts already. And then like heroes that initially I would tell you stay away from, I think that Florian's in a pretty good spot now. I think that like there's a lot of heroes that I've seen that are just like, even like the chaos stuff. If you're looking at like, Web of Deceit. Oh, dang it. Of course my camera's going to go out like this. But it's just kind of really fun that this gets to happen at that level where you're experiencing the way that other heroes want to play without needing to like feed into something else, right? Like, Contract Azuri or Contract Arachne has always been one that, even back when I was playing Commoner, I was like, well, I wish I could do something with Silver, like anything at all. And now it's like, okay, you can, and now every assassin can. So, if you're deciding to play Solitary Confinement and you want to play, stealth card pump into contract pump, now you have a bit more of give and take. You're still doing the game plan of milling your opponent, and you actually have a payoff. Like, you have a legitimate payoff. My heart goes out to Betsy players who did not get a log in the set.
I know, I wanted one so bad.
RIP Betsy players. But hopefully Betsy players will just keep. They didn't get anything. Like, I didn't like any of the Guardian cards that got printed. So I think it's just kind of one of those things. Yeah, they were all Valda. It was more stuff for Valda. And to be fair, Valda's broken in this format now. Like, that's a whole different video. We can get on a whole different topic about that. But I gotta get out of here. I gotta bounce, unfortunately, because my day went from cool, I'll be able to talk for another 20 minutes to the second it hits 10:30. I gotta get on here. So, but hopefully everybody enjoyed the stream. Hopefully everybody's got their own little opinions about Sage and how these things affect. I'm sure these cards also affect Classic Constructed in a way that is very effective to the hero that you want to play. Some more than others, but it is just kind of about how you want to set things up. But as far as Silver Age is concerned, I think that this was a great injection of new cards. And frankly, I think that we're going to see quite a switch in meta. Maybe not like that large, because I still think that we're going to see like Briar Oldham kind of concept, right? But I think for the most part, we are going to be seeing new heroes that may not have initially been up there with these new tools. So that'll be pretty fun. So cool. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed today's stream, you can watch it tomorrow as well, because I'll have it set up on that whole thing. But feel free to go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. If you haven't already, go check out Nathan over at Bulber Games. Nathan does a lot of the artsy fartsy stuff, and I love seeing the Shadowbox. Yeah, I was just like, where the hell is the name of the card? The Shadowbox stuff, and it's all very cool. And he posts a bunch of stuff over there. Also, sometimes goes live to do casual nights as LGS. So very fun. So all right. Well, thank you all. I appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next episode of the Common Language Podcast. Bye, everybody.